Well, this is unexpected. This is one of the craziest things I've ever done.
Hello and welcome to my kitchen. My name is Triana and this is Killer Dishes. On this channel, I'm going to be teaching you how to make some kind of yummy little morsel or maybe a little cocktail or a little snack, something to serve to your guests when you want to be bougie. I'm also going to be telling you about some absolutely horrific murder or some heinous crime, some crime of passion, something that's going to completely turn your stomach. It's going to be a good time. On today's episode, I just recently realized that we've never talked about Jodi Arias. I mean, this was one of the first cases that I've ever worked on. This case captured my attention to such an extent that I was working on it full time. I think I might have gotten fired from my job at the time because I was so involved in Jodi Arias' case. But what I've recently realized is that Jodi and I used to be neighbors. Well, sort of. She's in prison now, and I'm in Palm Springs now, but she used to live in Palm Desert. So I thought, wouldn't it be fun if I teach you guys how to make this cocktail, Mormon-friendly cocktail, by the way, and then we took a little field trip over to Jodi's house and just did an MDB. That's what me and my friends in high school used to call it when we'd like a boy. We'd do something called a mystery drive-by. Oh my God, by the way, that's totally Jodi Arias vibes. I'll tell you all about it. So, the reason why today we're making a Mormon-friendly mocktail is because Travis Alexander, the victim of this crime, was a very devout Mormon. Jodi Arias was not. She saw this as a way to sort of capture Travis. Now, I don't know too much about the Mormon religion. I do have a very close friend that's actually one of the most non-judgmental people that I've ever met in my life, and she is a Mormon, and from what I understand, they are not allowed to drink alcohol, caffeine, smoke cigarettes, use drugs, have sex before marriage. They have a lot of rules. So I would like to teach you today how to make this berry fizzy cocktail. There's no alcohol involved, so you could serve it to your bratty kids when they come home from school. We're going to start off with making these really fun ice cubes, and while we wait for the ice cubes to freeze, we're going to take a field trip over to Jodi's old house. So let's start from the beginning. Who was Jodi Arias? You guys, what first drew me to this case is that she seemed like somebody that I could have been friends with, she was young, she was pretty, she seemed fun, she just seemed like the kind of gal that knew how to have a good time. So Jodi Arias grew up in Yreka, California. That's way up north. She kind of got into some trouble at an early age. I remember reading that at the age of 15, her parents found out that she was growing a marijuana plant in her bedroom. So ever since then, Jodi had a really contentious relationship with her family. Years went by and Jodi was a hard worker. She always had a job, she was always very self-sufficient, and she worked a lot in food service. She eventually got a job at a restaurant that was owned by her grandparents called Las Casas. This wasn't enough for Jodi. She didn't want to just wait tables. She wanted to have a bigger life than she could have in her small town. So eventually Jodi left her small town and she made the move down to California, where she landed in Palm Desert. Now, she got a job at a resort style restaurant and started dating her boss. She was dating the manager of this restaurant named Daryl Brewer. They eventually bought a home together in Palm Desert, and we're gonna drive by it. So we've just filled this with berries, and this is, by the way, my favorite coconut water. The others don't stand a chance to this coconut water. Anyways, so back to Jodi. She's living this great life with Daryl Brewer in Palm Desert. They've got a 3-bed, 2-bath with a swimming pool. Life is good, but not good enough for Jodi. She discovered a company called Prepaid Legal Services. Kind of sounded to me like a pyramid scheme or I don't know. It was a sketchy company. But it brought her to Las Vegas, where she met and sunk her meat hooks into Travis Alexander. And what happened from there changed the course of both of their lives forever. Now I'm just gonna take a second here to assemble my ice cubes. I've never used these before, guys, so It's a first for both of us. And you know, you guys, these Mormon-friendly mocktails, they're not just for Mormons, you know? I mean, if you've got a hangover, that's great for that. I only drink champagne, so I'm not really much of an alcohol drinker. But this feels like a real summer delight. Try it if you got it, you know what I'm saying? I'll try anything 3 times, I always say. So here's the tricky part. Let's see how this goes. This isn't going well. Oh yeah, okay. The fruit hath risen. I'm sure a lot of you are watching from home going, Triana, why are you doing it like that? You stupid. I'm walking so you all can run. I feel like this would go a lot faster if you had a funnel. We're making it work. We're gonna see how this, I mean, you know what? You get the gist. Like we're basically pouring coconut water into an ice cube tray and plopping in a few berries, all right? That's where we are at this point. Okay, so before I get back to Jodi, I'm gonna pop these babies into the freezer. I'll be right back. Okay, back to Jodi. Picture it. They're at the MGM Grand. She meets Travis Alexander, and he's like the top dog at his company. So much so that he has been invited to this sort of like platinum level gala where the top sellers at his company have been invited to go to this fancy dinner at the MGM Grand. When he lays eyes on Jodi Arias, she's completely knocked his socks off. You know what I'm saying? Like, she's blonde, she's built, she's beautiful, and Travis Alexander, who is a good Mormon boy, had probably really never seen anybody with the likes of va-va-va-voom Jodi, you know? So he asks her to go to the gala with him that night. She even said to him, like, well, I didn't bring anything to wear. First of all, Jodi, you're going to Vegas. How did you not bring something to wear? But I digress. Travis is such a nice guy that he actually goes and borrows a dress from one of his friends' wives for Jodi to wear to this gala. They go to the gala, he's telling her all about the company, and she is very interested in advancing her career and moving on up in the world, so she takes a real interest in prepaid legal services. What happens next is where the story starts to go a little crazy. Travis has explained to Jodi that he is a Mormon. They do not have sex before marriage. They do not engage in sexual activity before marriage. But Jodi is, she's a temptress, you know? She's one of those girls that your mother warned you about. So she essentially starts to seduce Travis, and he kind of falls under her spell, and they begin to engage in a very sexual relationship. Now, I don't know why she did this, but Jodi started audio recording their phone conversations where they were having phone sex.
Seriously, the best times when we just go for freaking off sessions, just like go forever.
You're not joking. I mean, like, there's been a few times where I've been bold enough to just pull you onto bed and start. You remember that time I came to visit you when I was still living in California, and I fell asleep on your chair next to your bed? And you just like woke me up by pulling my pants off and totally licking my pussy.
Yeah.
I was so embarrassed because I just like got my Brazilian on and I was like worried about what it looked like. And I was like, ah, and the lights were bright and they were on. I was all self-conscious. But I remember that was hot.
There's a lot going on now with Travis. You know what I'm saying? He's dating a non-Mormon. He's having sexual relations with a non-Mormon, and he starts expressing his concerns to Jodi. And Jodi's got an answer for everything. Great news, Travis. I'm going to convert to Mormonism, and I would like you to baptize me. Okay, so I think this might be a good time to take a break, wait for those ice cubes to freeze, and go on a little field trip and see where Jodi Arias used to live. All right, let's go see Jodi's place. All right. Jodi and Travis were dating for months at this point. They were engaging in all sorts of sexual activity. They were doing all of the things. Travis finally reached a breaking point, and he told her, you know, listen, I don't see myself marrying you. Now, I can understand how that would be just like a bullet of truth to the heart. Breakups are hard for everyone, and Jodi was no exception. Not only was she not the exception, she was really bad at being broken up with. The house that we're going to go see, that Jodi owned with her ex-boyfriend, Daryl Brewer,
went into foreclosure. So when she lost this house, she was forced to move back up to Wairika, California to live with her grandparents. Hear what I'm saying? After he breaks up with her, she ups and moves all the way down to Mesa, Arizona, to the town that he lives in after he's broken up with her. This is psycho. He had started to pursue other relationships within the church, other young women that were marriage-minded and that were devout Mormons. Jodi wasn't done with Travis yet. And Jodi was in his ear going, you know what, it's okay. We don't have to get married, but like we can still have fun. So they were like F buddies, completely on the DL. Nobody really knew about it. So Jodi would like sneak over to Travis's house at night. They would have their fun. And she was basically, she had become his dirty little secret. Travis eventually met another young woman from the church, and through his work, through prepaid legal services, he had won a free trip to Cancun. Well, he invited this girl from church to go to Cancun with him. She didn't see Travis as marriage material and said, I will go with you to Cancun, but only as friends. Travis was such a nice guy, and you know, he was trying to get back on his path with God, so he was like, yeah, that's totally fine. We can go to Cancun as friends. Meanwhile, Jodi is still kind of sticking her hooks in Travis. She finds out about this Cancun trip and says that it's fine. I'm totally okay with this. She was not okay with it. At this point, Jodi hatches a plan. She decides that she is going to drive all the way down to Mesa, Arizona, and I guess try to win Travis back, try to seduce Travis back. Navigation says we are 8 minutes away from Jodi's house. I don't know if I'm gonna knock on the door. I can't promise you anything, but we're just gonna feel the vibe. We're in her neighborhood. This is a nice ass neighborhood too. Oh God, we are turning on the street. Jodi's life would have been so much different. There's a car in the driveway. Oh my God, there's a lady outside. Oh my God, oh my God, what do we do? What do we do? What do we do? What do we do? She was outside the house. Okay, put the camera down. And then what am I even gonna say? Like, hi. Okay, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna knock on the door and I'm gonna say, I want to know if it's okay if I take some pictures in front of her house. And when she asks me why, I'm going to be honest and tell her why. Okay, that's the plan. That's what we're gonna do. Closed mouths don't get fed. Remember that, kids. If she says no, we're gonna respect that. Okay, here's the latest, you guys. We've been here for like an hour, literally. Okay, this is my chance. I have to do it.
I'm so sorry to bother you. Do you live here?
Yeah.
I just have a question for you. I'm doing some research. Did you ever know your next door neighbors?